Cool, hey guys, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Andertons TV. I'm joined today by Lincoln and Neve from the British School of Rock. Maybe you've seen the video we shot with their bandmates Casper and Isak yesterday, who are the guitar players in their band. We've got Neve here on bass and Lincoln on the drums, and we're just going to talk to them about how they got into their respective instruments and what they're doing at British School of Rock, and how playing drums and bass and just being in a band has changed their lives a little bit, hopefully. So should we start with you, Neve? Tell us a little bit about how you got into playing the bass.
Okay, so my dad is he's really into rock.
Cool.
So naturally, I got into rock as well. I started listening to it a lot, and eventually I wanted to play it.
Cool.
And I just always really liked the sound of the bass, the way it's played, and also the simplicity of the 4-string bass as well. So, my dad, we went and looked for different places to lessons, and we found British School of Rock on the website, and I tried it out, and 2 years later I'm here.
Oh, that's superb. And how old were you when you first started playing?
12, I think.
12. It's a
yeah.
good age. Good age to take up an instrument. Lincoln, tell us a little bit. So, how about you? How old were you when you first started to play the drums?
I started when I was 8.
Cool.
When I was little, I used to play on pots and pans and things that I got out of the kitchen to make a drum kit. And then I eventually got an electric drum kit, and I started having lessons. And then probably about a year or so after that, I ended up getting an acoustic kit and carried on from there.
Oh, that's cool. So who was your inspiration then as a bass player? Were you aware of players that you really liked even at 12 years old, or did you just know you liked the noise a bass made?
Well, not so much at 12, but a bit later. I really liked Flea from Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Super cool guy.
I like the way he plays when he slaps, how he mixes kind of funk and punk in their songs, and it's
great,
really good.
Yeah. Anybody else that inspired you, or are you into that kind of rock funk thing?
Kind of into the rock funk thing.
Oh, I mean, Flea's amazing, amazing player. How about you on drums? Any sort of drum heroes that you'd like to emulate?
Benny Grubb for me, who's really
old school.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he's amazing.
So how did you get into him?
Well, I started with kind of jazz and funk, and I found him, and the way he plays is really helpful to see how he plays, so I can improve my playing as well. So that's
awesome,
how
awesome. So when you started on the bass, a lot of people I think might be intimidated by the fact that it's one of the bigger kind of instruments that you could start with. Did you start on like a short scale bass, or did you find it okay straight away on?
Initially, I started in a shorter scale bass. I think it was Stag. I'm not sure which one, but about a term later in the British School of Rock, I got a full length bass, because at 12 I was basically the same size I am now.
Right, so you're a tall 12-year-old.
Yeah.
Oh, that helps, I think. And if you are a bit shorter, basically some good advice there from Neve, that you can buy basses. When we talk about short scale, we just mean that basically the bass kind of stops maybe about here. So if you shift everything that way, about kind of that much, and it just makes it a little bit easier. So it's still classed as like a proper full-size instrument. It's just a little bit shorter than the one you've got now. And I have to ask, because everyone's going to want to know, where did you get these badass pink strings from?
I got them online.
Yeah. I think it's a brand called DR Strings, and they make all sorts of luminous colour strings, but they're really cool.
Yeah, I need to change them soon. I might get green.
Well, absolutely. Why not? And the matching nail varnish, basically. So whatever you have to sort of, incorporate your strings and nail varnish. And you mentioned that you started on an electronic kit.
Yes.
And I suspect most parents will probably be, well, maybe not most parents, but certainly some will be going, please don't want to play the drums, please don't want to play the drums. Just because it's not the quietest of instrument, is it?
No.
But, does the electronic kit kind of address that issue?
Yeah, well, you can attach headphones to it, so you can play as loud as you want without disturbing anyone.
Yeah.
So you can just listen to it from your headphones.
And then when you made the jump from electric to acoustic, is it weird feeling, or does it just feel like a natural transition?
Yeah, well, from the electric kit that I had, it's quite a bit different because there are lots of different sounds that you can get on the acoustic kit. As in the electric kit, quite a lot of them, you can only really get a few sounds out of each drum, but this you can get a lot.
Awesome. And where do you get to practice your acoustic drum kit?
I have one in my bedroom.
Nice. Is it like a massive house so everyone can escape?
Yeah.
That's handy. Or a shed at the end of the garden. I have to say, my brother, so the whole Andertons family, except for me, are all drummers. So my granddad, my dad, my brother. And so I know what it's like growing up in a household, a pretty small house as well, where someone's learning to play drums. It is a challenge, but you can get, electronic drum kits are a great solution, or less good, I think, but still viable, is you can get some fairly heavy rubber kind of mats that go over the drums, can't you? So you can have a kit like this and bash away and it doesn't make too much noise. What about, so how long were you kind of like playing on your own as a bass player before you sort of, felt, I really need to go and be in a band now?
Well, not too sure. We became a band last summer, basically. Okay. So over a year.
So you like just a year of just playing on your own, and then basically you got the opportunity to be in a band.
But in the British School of Rock, we kind of we learn the songs separately, guitarists, the bassists, the drummers, and then at the end of each class we play them as a big band.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I wouldn't really call that playing on our own. It still feels like you're part of something.
Yeah.
And it's good to have the guitarists and the drummers there, not just the song playing in the background.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I remember, because I kind of, when I first started playing, I think like a lot of people, I looked at the 6-string and I just thought, it looks a bit complicated to me. So I had a bass for about maybe the first 6 months of playing. But I did find with the bass, I don't actually think it is any less complicated than it's a different ability. It's much more sort of groove orientated, isn't it? And it's quite, sometimes it's more difficult because I think at least with the guitar you're generally playing the melody, whereas with the bass you've really got to understand the fundamental sort of rhythm section and what that brings to a band. But I did find I got a bit lonely as a bass player sitting in my sort of, and so I did go on to 6-string. But so did you ever feel that kind of like, bit lonely playing the bass?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of rock songs out there where the bass is just like an added in part to complete the song, and sometimes it can get a bit boring, really.
On your own,
yeah.
I think you need to be in a band, don't you? I think as a bass player.
As a bass player, yes.
But how about you? So were you, I guess similarly with drums, it's not really a solo instrument as such, is it? But so how long were you playing before you felt confident enough? And how did being at British School of Rock help you?
Yeah, well, I was playing for about a year before I joined a band in my school before this one, and then I joined a few groups in this school that I am now, and formed a band as well. And then I which was mainly jazz, and then I went to British School of Rock and kind of went on the more rock side, playing in a band. And then we got our band from British School of Rock as well.
I totally forgot to ask Casper and Isak yesterday what their band's even called. I know we're going to see the band performing a bit later on this week, but what's the name of the band?
Upon Opinion.
Yeah.
Oh, good name. And did the band literally nearly split up over arguing about what you were going to call the band? Because that's the normal.
Well, actually, we had a lot of trouble finding a name. So Asat was the one who came up with it upon opinion, and I think we just really liked the ring of it.
It's a cool name.
It's cool, yeah.
It's really hard to come up with a band name that everybody agrees on, but it is a cool name. So I want to talk about, I kind of think a lot of the messaging in this videos is really trying to reach out to parents and say, look, it's really, really important that you do kind of encourage your children to take up a musical instrument. So there's bucket loads of scientific research to suggest that if you do play a musical instrument, that it has a positive impact on academic skills, helps with your ability to retain information, and helps with your attention span. I think there's even some sort of brain research that, you know, left side triggers right side or whatever. Anyway, cleverer people than me have done this research. I do know, though, from personal experience, what a positive impact it has on your confidence and your sort of social skills. But I think it's really great to hear it from, you know, people who are, you know, young and going through their sort of teenage years, and how, well, you'll start with you, Neve. So how has playing the bass, you know, helped you either in school or socially?
Well, I mean, I found a lot of friends, you know, who also play the same instrument as me, or who play, you know, guitar, drums, you know. My music taste also finds a lot of friends.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess it's a really nice hobby, something like relaxing, something I can do just to get my mind off exams.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So just something, again, helps you relax, de-stresses you if you've got some sort of, you know, I can imagine, you know, I do remember that. It's stressful, isn't it? All that sort of, you know, as well as all the things that's going on inside your body as you go through adolescence, and you've got all the added pressure of exams and school stuff and things like this. It's good that you've got something that you can have a release for that.
Yeah.
So how about you, Lincoln? Have you got any nice examples of, I don't know, just cool things that have happened to you because you've played the drums?
Well, it's helped my confidence a lot because in like at school we were playing concerts and things in front of quite a few people, and it's just helped with my confidence in playing and in just out and about, and I think it helps me like concentrate more as well.
Mm-hmm.
Focus on something else.
Oh, that's great. And so look, I mean, that's really the message that we're trying to get across from these videos is to say to sort of parents, look, if you've got children who show an interest in music, and, you know, nobody's saying about, you know, force them into doing something they don't want to do, but if they're showing an interest, do try and help them, encourage them along that. I know there's probably musical instruments have got a reputation for being expensive, and without a doubt, quite some orchestral instruments, you know, sort of French horns and all that kind of stuff, can be frighteningly expensive. But the cool thing about this more sort of contemporary gear is it's really, really affordable. So, you know, the sort of stuff that Neve's playing here, there's a little bass, a really cool bass just behind Neve here, which you can buy with a guitar amp and a whole heap of other stuff to get you started. And these are like £250 with everything built, you know, everything in. And the kit that Lincoln is playing with the cymbals and everything is £350. The electronic kits start from about the same price, and these aren't toys. You know, this isn't Andertons isn't a toy shop. You know, music stores don't sell toys. You know, these are proper instruments that are just affordable. The guitars that I was playing with Isa and Casper yesterday, again, you know, packs are like £200. They're just so affordable. So, and then when it comes to lessons, have you? Because that's my other real sort of passion is to really make sure that parents find teachers and schools where the music teacher is inspirational, because it's, you know, it's not easy, is it, to learn to play? You don't just sort of go, oh, mum, get us a drum kit, and then next weekend you're in a band and you're a drummer. You know, you've got to try, haven't you? So I think if your teacher doesn't inspire you to want to learn, it's tough. You've really got to have perhaps a layer of dedication that might be slightly unusual in young people. But if you've got a teacher that inspires you, it just allows everything to flourish. You obviously, you know, get a lot out of British School of Rock, because was that a real, you know, has that completely changed your enthusiasm for the bass, or allowed it to flourish?
Well, I mean, it definitely has, because it's not like one-on-one sessions where like everything is expected of you. I mean, obviously you have to put your best into it, but it's also quite a lot of fun, because you have your friends there as well with you, maybe the people playing the same instrument as you, and it's just really nice. It's a really nice atmosphere to be able to play with other people as well. So I think that's quite encouraging.
Yeah. And how about you? Same. Your drum teacher wise, have you? Are all your lessons through British School of Rock, or do you do other lessons to the side of that?
Oh, I have lessons at home as well, and at British School of Rock, and it's really helped me be inspired, because I know what I'm working towards when they show you, or giving you an example, and because British School of Rock, it helped me explore rock, so like the foundations that I need to play it. Yeah. Because before I didn't really know anything about it.
You've come at this really like back to front. Most people, it's like it's rock first, and then jazz is the big mystery that you do in your, But you did the jazz thing first, did you? And then the rock thing.
Yeah.
What do you think you guys will be? Like if it's. Do you think you're going to take this like really seriously and be professional musicians, or do you think it'll just be some kind of cool hobby you'll do for the rest of your life? Or.
I mean, I don't really know what we're aiming for. Heading this into a professional way would be really fun. Would be really cool. But as of now, we see it as like a hobby. Meeting up, playing together, just jamming together.
I think that's what it's all about. I mean, that's what 99% of musicians do. Do you think would you love to study at like further education in music, or?
Yeah, I think so. I'd like to. The dream job is to be a musician for me, and it's also a hobby as well. So it's really fun just to do in my spare time and to work towards in the future.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, look, really, really appreciate you guys coming in. We'll jam out with some other tune that we'll probably have to quickly rehearse here. But so British School of Rock, I'll put links to it below so you can find out more. They're kind of Southeast UK based, so if you're watching this video from further afield, do just Google band camp, band workshops, anything like that. Find something that that you might like to enroll in, because you can see from these guys just the way they talk. Being in a band that's all the reason I think for kind of learning to play an instrument, is to kind of go and do it with your friends. It's very, very cool. But look, cheers guys for coming in. Thank you so much for watching again. We've got the singers from your band, I think, in tomorrow, which is going to be exciting. And again, do stay tuned, or look for the link for when these guys' band's going to play. I gather it's a Bon Jovi tune. I don't know if you've done that just for me. I was obviously Bon Jovi is like my ultimate childhood band. So really looking forward to that. But good luck with whatever you decide to do. Yeah. Thank you for coming in, and thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.